Hello, Fruit Force. Once again, this is Captain Fruit reporting for duty, and I want to talk a little bit about the next Avengers movie that's coming up soon, Endgame, and some of the talk and hype behind it. Now, here we have in this article, new Endgame clip tells us exactly where Captain Marvel's been all this time. And if you see here who it's written by Susan Polo, on April 8th, 2019 it was released here, and here I want to discuss a little bit about that and the problem here. I think Endgame is going to be very successful. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be very successful. I thought Captain Marvel would be pretty successful. I thought it was overhyped for it, and I was right. The initial reports were like 160 million opening, and it was like 120, and I predicted around 80, so I fell pretty much as close as their original predictions. It did a little better than I thought, and I should have calculated a little bit more for the Avengers pull, because they sandwiched it as a key linchpin to the Avengers movie, which should hype it up. I think the real details is what would Captain Marvel's second movie be, the sequel, because of course it did good. It's going to be a sequel. Will be nearly as good if it isn't hyped up and connected to something so big, and I tend to doubt it, because you look, most of the people that really watched it said it was meh, but they watched it because of the Avengers movie. And there's part of the problem. I think Endgame, is really another shift. It's going to be the last of this as we know it. And the next shift in Avengers movies is going to be the agenda, the Marvel now, if you will. Because before, there was a little bit, but not much, so there wasn't much to worry about in that regard. There were good popcorn flicks that you just go and watch and appreciate and have a good time. But now they've been very open, the people behind making these movies and things, about the agenda behind it. And that tends to make me wonder, what's going to happen after Endgame? Is Endgame the end of the golden era of the MCU, and now it'll be the agenda era? That's what I fear. But here's another thing, too. They mention where Captain Marvel's been all this time, and I asked that too. The thing, where's Captain Marvel been all this time? Well, yeah, especially when the whole world was under attack, her planet, and of course in this article here too, they give her answer to that, but it's a pretty lame answer if you really think about it. It says here, but in the meantime, War Machine has a prickly question for Captain Marvel. Where was she when Thanos killed all their friends? There are a lot of other planets in the universe, she answers. Yeah. Sure, but where's our home planet? And then she goes, and unfortunately, they didn't have you guys. Well, evidently, she thinks pretty high of herself, because in the advertisement, she's like, well, you didn't have me. So which one is it? Is she that important? But nonetheless, this is, Earth. Sort of important to her, where she grew up. You think you would take a little care in that? Yeah, I don't buy that. And once again, before all the haters come out, remember, I'm a fan of Captain Marvel. I don't like what they've done with the character for quite a few years now. But I'm a fan of the character, and I want them to do her right. And I think Brie Larson was a terrible choice for that. And I don't think they are doing her right. I think she should have a little bit of a feminist pull to her, absolutely, because she did the original run of comic books. So you can't argue that. But it was also a product of its time. Things have changed since then. This whole agenda driving. And here's the problem I fear. Because before, sure, there can be some agendas. And the story should always be before the agenda. The story should be what matters. Maybe a couple little elements of agenda we can get by that are in there. But as long as the story's prominent. But we've seen this very problem in other comic book situations. With comic books themselves, where the agenda gets before the plot and the story, it ruins the comic books. Ask yourself, why has Captain Marvel comic books sold so poorly? I wonder why. It's been rebooted after reboot after reboot, and each one has an agenda, and those agendas don't sell comic books. Good story, good characters, good art sells comic books. Look at the CW. The first few seasons of The Flash. The first few seasons of Arrow, for example, the first season of Supergirl, even though that one had a bit of agenda too. They were more story-driven above agenda, and now their agenda is driving the story, and the ratings have plummeted on those series significantly. The numbers don't lie. Look at them. And I fear that's what we're going to see with Marvel. After Endgame, it's going to become the new Marvel now agenda-driven, and we're going to be seeing more agenda over actual stories. And that's a fear. And don't get me wrong, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I want great Marvel movies. I want Endgame to be spectacular. I want whatever's next to be spectacular. I want great Captain Marvel movies. I want great, any character movies. Great Black Panther. Great War Machine movie would be nice to see. heck, even throw a Wonder Man movie in there. Right? I want great movies, and that's what I fear is now with all these ideologues, it's going to become agenda above movie. Heck, you even look at the actors; tons of them love to throw out their ideology. You have, what I have to say, Hydra Cap playing Captain America now. Chris Evans there, he's such an ideologue. How many people is he turning away? Think about that. If anything, you want to bind people together, get them together. Quit causing trouble. Quit putting your ideology above what your product is. And I cannot believe these companies allow that to happen. But hey, they do. Feige's been perfectly fine with it and supporting it. So is this going to be the downfall of Marvel? Yes, Endgame, once again, is going to do fantastic. But the question is, what's going to happen after it? And that's what I ask you. What's going to happen next with Marvel and the MCU? Do you think MCU is going to continue to soar high? Or do you think it's going to be now trickling down? We're going to see a downhill trend in quality as well as in ticket sales. That's my question to you. I'd love to hear it in the comments section. Please, if you do respond, actually respond to the questions rather than just calling me an idiot like some people like to do that have nothing to do with the video, because they won't even have seen this because they don't usually watch the video before they comment and tell me how dumb I am or how I am a sexist and hate Captain Marvel, because clearly they haven't been watching my channel at all and know anything about me and how much I actually like the character. So I'd like to see your views. If you do enjoy this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notifications bell. And, if you want to help the channel, we have go in the info bar. We have a link where you can do a one-time donation or join our Patreon. We'd greatly appreciate it. And until next time,